corona, then solar winds, sunspots, then polar auroras, as divided as aurora borealis and aurora australis. Then they are known as northern lights and southern lights. Then finally we'll discuss about the Van Allen belts. So the sun at a rate takes 250 million years to complete one revolution round the center. This period is called a cosmic year. Like all other stars, the sun is composed mainly of hydrogen. Its energy is generated by nuclear collisions in its interior. It is calculated that the sun consumes about 1 trillion pounds of hydrogen every second. At this rate, it is expected to burn out its stocks of hydrogen in about 5 billion years and turn into a red giant. So, in that connection, we would like to discuss about the very composition and the glowing surface of the sun, which we see is called photosphere. Above the photosphere is the chromosphere, so called because of its reddish color. Beyond this layer is the magnificent corona of the sun, which is visible during eclipses. Between the chromosphere and the corona, this spectrosphere investigations have identified a particular item, and that is relating to that of the features of this element of sun and the very narrow boundary zone known as the transition region. So another phenomenon that we would like to discuss, and that is relating to solar winds. A less spectacular but persistent stream of protons is flowing out of the corona and sweeping over the whole solar system. So, in 1958, the American physicist Eugene Norman Parker called this outward stream of protons as the solar wind. Recent researches through satellites have shown that the solar wind is made up of a plasma, that is ionized gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, containing nearly an equal number of protons and electrons. It flows outward from the sun at supersonic speeds around 400 minutes a second. Apparently, this wind sweeps through the whole solar system to a distance of 40 astronomical units from the sun, which coincides with the very limit of planetary orbits. And now we'll discuss another important part of sun, that is the sunspots, which are dark patches noticed on the surface of the sun. They appear dark because they are cooler, around 1500 degrees centigrade than the surface of the sun, which has a temperature of about 6000 degrees centigrade. The largest spot ever measured covered 7,000 million square miles, or approximately 0.7% of the sun's visible surface. The life period of these sunspots also vary. They may last from a few hours to many weeks. They show strong magnetic fields and reach a maximum every 11 years. During the maximum of a sunspot period, the sun shows marked activities in certain wavelengths like X-rays and ultraviolet radiations. Frequent solar eruptions and solar flares occur. These produce great reactions on the Earth and its atmosphere, such as ionospheric disturbances, magnetic storms, interruptions of radio communication, unusual aerial displays, and a lowering of the average cosmic ray intensity. So finally, we would like to discuss about the polar auroras. So, polar auroras are two auroras. The aurora borealis, or northern light, and the aurora australis, or southern lights. These are lights that sweep across the sky in waves or streams or floods. They are very often multicolored and provide one of the finest spectacles in nature. They occur in the Arctic and the Antarctic regions respectively, but the northern lights can be seen as far south as New Orleans in America, and the southern lights as far north as Australia. The auroras are chiefly caused by sunspots, which are magnetic storms on the surface of the sun. These storms discharges electrified particles into space. The Earth's magnetic poles attract those particles. Consequently, the north and south poles are the radiating centers of these electromagnetic displays. So finally, we would like to discuss about the Van Allen belts. The magnetosphere, that is, we have to discuss, is the electrified particles from the sun cause gases in the upper atmosphere to vibrate and glow in colors peculiar to them, just as a neon sign. So, in that context, as we discussed, the causal relations between sunspots and auroras has been doubted because the interval between the two was always erratic and never uniform, and this has now been explained by the discovery of the magnetosphere. And this Earth's magnetosphere was first called the Van Allen belt after the American physicist James Van Allen, who discovered them in 1959, for which Van Allen, in analyzing the data from the earlier explorer and pioneer rockets, found two belts of high-intensity radiation in the upper atmosphere. Pioneer 12 later showed that these belts were a part of a larger band of radiation called the magnetosphere. It extends far out to about 40,000 miles from the surface. Here the protons and electrons that shoot out from the sun are cut and held by the magnetism of the earth. The upper belt with its center, some 1,500 miles from the earth, does not touch the atmosphere. So, almost we have completed about the first, second and third portion relating to the universe, in which we have discussed regarding the cosmos and the solar system, galaxy, Milky Way, Doppler effect, Big Bang theory, continuous creation theory, then the oscillating theory about the outer space which consists light year astronomical unit, then about those 7 important colors in the solar spectrum, then the angstrom unit, the electromagnetic thesis, the Cartesian waves, X-ray radiation, radioactivities, the photons, then we went to galaxy, the spiral, elliptical, regular galaxies, then Milky Way, the Magellanic Cloud, then the Andromeda Galaxy, then we went to Milky Way, the fascination, as we found among the ancient people in Central Asia, among the Eskimos, the Greeks, the Chinese, the Indians, and the galactic clusters, then globular clusters. Then we discuss about the stars, in particular the lone star, the double star, the multiple stars, then the red giants and variable stars, then the events of nova and supernova. Then we want to discuss about the solar system, in particular relating to the inner planets and the outer planets, the satellites, asteroids and comets. Then finally we have discussed the very center of the solar system, that is Sun. So what is a cosmic year and what is the composition of Sun and the Photosphere, Chromosphere and Corona, and what are solar winds and sunspots? Then what are the events occurs due to solar winds? That is the polar auroras divided as aurora borealis, then aurora australis, which are otherwise known as northern lights and southern lights. Then finally we have discussed about the Van Allen belts.